Well, Danny Thompson, thanks very much for being with us this week. You're batting cleanup on this. So far this week, we've had Justice Bill Maupin, Assemblyman William Horn, Erwin Molansky, one of the best business people in southern Nevada and throughout the state, Speaker Barbara Buckley, and you're the fifth and final. So tell me, why is the AFL-CIO supporting this new process for picking judges?
Well, Jim, I'm honored to be considered with that group of people. We're supporting this because, when you as an individual go to court, your financial freedom or your freedom is at risk or in question. And when you appear there, you want that person who's going to make that decision for you to be impartial and free of any outside influences. Under the system we have right now, where judges have to seek campaign contributions and run in the numbers that they run, I would dare say that 5% of the populace knows who they're voting for. They don't know the person's background, they don't know their education, and they don't know who necessarily has given them a contribution. And so if you get to court and you don't prevail, the question is always going to be in your mind, did I lose because I didn't make a contribution? Now, whether that's a reality or not doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. The perception is there. And so, I've served on the Judicial Selection Committee in Clark County. They vet a person's education. They vet, how many times they look at how many times it took them to pass the bar. They look at their grades. They look at their health. They consider everything. And so it is a lot better process than just having someone put their name on the ballot that you don't know anything about. And, as we expand the court, which we have in Clark County, there's even more judges now and even more people that you would have to, educate yourself about. And the public just really doesn't do that. And I think this system, you retain your right to vote, but I think in the end, we'll have a better system of justice having done this.
Don't you think the man on the street is really skeptical of whether he can get a square shoot or a square shot in a court in this state, or frankly in any state where the judges are elected rather than appointed?
Absolutely, and I think that perception is, most people don't go to court, and most people, when they do find themselves there, generally it's a pretty serious event. And like I said, either their freedom or their financial well-being is brought into question. And so, when that happens, then you educate yourself about everything in that process, including that judge. And if you find out then that the person that is suing you has given a contribution to that judge, I think it throws everything that happens into question. Whereas through this selection process, this committee vets out, those judges. And like I said, I've served on those committees. Let me give you an example. If you have someone who did something stupid when they were young in high school and got a DUI, and then they had a stellar education and a stellar career, and they decide to be a judge, as opposed to someone who just goes down and puts their name on the ballot, and these two people end up on the ballot, and this question of this person had a DUI when they were 18, and they lose because of that, and you end up actually with the more inferior judge, because in the judicial selection process where they vet these questions out, they consider those
Danny,
things.
We've looked at this.
Take your car to a mechanic, you want the best mechanic.
We've looked at this for years. Do you think it's finally going to happen?
I do. I think if you look at the broad base of support, Jim, that this question has, I don't think there's much question. And I think, if people really think about it, actually this is going to create a better court system than we have now. I think we'll be better off.
Good. Thanks very much for being here this week. The others really appreciate you batting cleanup, and let's hope this thing gets through.